Peeps. Oh dear, right. So, yeah, I'm 5.6 miles in from the tap today. Down at a pumping station down at Swivel Reservoir. On my right way round, I've been watching some of Keith's videos. One of them, which made me laugh, was about being the enemy. Obviously, we've all done enemy at some stage as veterans. And Keith was on about some funny stories, so I'm going to come out with a few. So, one of them, I was actually playing enemy on an exercise in Germany. And as part of the enemy, I got tasked with going and recovering one of our 432s. So I tips up, starts looking at the vehicle, then gets told by the umpire of the exercise to right to move because the enemy were nearby. It took quite a bit of time trying to get everything back together, and by the time we got sorted, the enemy were upon us and we were taking incoming fire. Yeah. To the point that in the end, the umpire came along and says, right, that's it, you're out of the game for the next 4 hours. So me and the driver just packed up the bits from our 434, got the boiling vessel on. I don't know what the boiling vessel is. It's basically it's a big kettle that we used to have on our armoured personnel vehicles. We thought, well, we're going to be here for 4 hours, we'll get a brew on. Next thing I know, he's on our radio, a call from our ASM, the Artistic Sergeant Major, a bloke called Charlie Barrett. Never forget him. Charlie looked and sounded like Blakey from one of the buses. Yeah. One thing I always used to say to him was, ASM, I've got a problem. All I used to get out of him was, got more problem. So the ASM called up asking how we were doing, when we're going to be back to the leader area. And I said, well, we've been taken out of action. So we're out the game for 4 hours. No, you're not. You get yourself back to this location. Well, as he was saying that, I was stood with the umpire next to me. And the umpire asked me for my headset. And radioed through it to Charlie Barrett and said, which part of out of action for the next 4 hours don't you understand? This vehicle's going nowhere. Yeah, so me and Willie Gordon, who was my driver, we just sat there for 4 hours, had a brew, made some scoff, had an egg banjo, and eventually after 4 hours the umpire let it go. The other one I did, I was actually an umpire, and Keith mentioned the God gun. And what it was I was the umpire. With the God gun we could actually take people out, or we could disable the SAWS kit that Keith mentioned, which was a laser targeting system, very much like the old laser quest stuff that you see nowadays. And depending on where you put the safety patch, you could either kill someone or bring them back to life. A bit like the old line of duty that we see nowadays on computers. Well, there was a colleague of mine who was up in a tree and he was taking out various people within the forces that were trying to attack his location. And he was doing a good job. Very good job. Then all of a sudden, next thing, his alarm goes off. And he's swearing blind that there's no way they could have seen me. So I then disabled the alarm, allowed the enemy to get a bit closer. Yeah. Ritovich was up there, firing away, doing a great job of sniping. Next thing his kit goes off again. And he was adamant that it couldn't have been, no, they couldn't have got him. There's no way they knew where he was at. So after about the fourth time, I had to admit it was me that was taking him out. Yeah. The verbal abuse I got was quite incredible. Quite incredible, it really was. Those veterans that will remember fibula training. Keith goes on about how it was such a laugh. Yeah, Being the enemy was all a laugh. But when it came down to football training, you worked as hard as the actual guys on the ground. You really did. Yeah. Because you had to set up the defensive positions. It wasn't all set up for you. You had to do it yourself. So we used to set up the defensive positions. You worked hard. It was great being the enemy forces tucked into a building or whatever and watching them trying to come up the stairs and you're throwing thunder flashes down at them and everything like that. But yeah, being the enemy was always a good crack. One of the best ones I ever did was for a person who was at the time the 2IC of the unit or a unit I was with, and he got posted off to the command workshops in York, and he was on about the fact how the security at the command workshops was appalling. So he rang me up one day, I was up in Catterick, and asked me if I could put a team together to actually go in and infiltrate into the command workshops location at Strenthal in York, which we did. He walked into his office on the Monday morning to find me sat at his desk with my feet on the table. Yeah, and of course I snapped up, threw him a salute and said to me, so right, how many have we got in here? I said, 5 of us, sir. I said, how'd you get in? He said, well, I got came in over the fence. One bloke used the backside of his Artley card to come in through the main gate, and a colleague of mine, Matt McMurtry, who was our armourer, he was given a guided tour around the armoury after getting in there with no ID checks whatsoever. My understanding is the mod pod who was in charge got a right roasting up there. So yeah, it was great doing enemy at times. And I'd do it again. Civ Prop done that, for Tin City and Lager. We did it for the Gulf War. We also did it for Bosnia, our training in Bosnia, where we ended up having to enact being the local population. Yeah, great times, great times. Anyway, I'm going to crack on and get home. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Same as Keith says, we just ask you to consider it. Don't tell you what to do. Don't do this on these channels, do we? No, we don't. But if you do subscribe, do me a big favour. Yeah, drop me a comment. Tell me you subscribe, because do you know what I like doing? I like to respond to you and thank you for actually subscribing to my channel. And I know Keith does exactly the same. Keith is at Letstab59's. So anyway, I'm going to finish up, have a bit of drink, and then head off home. So I've got about another 2.5 hours to go. So I'll give you a shout when I get in. And to all of you out there, let's tap.